I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Village Board for September 14, 2021. Could you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Village Clerk, would you please call the roll?
President DeSimone?
Here.
Trustee Carmona? Here. Trustee Franz? Here. Trustee Fry? Here. Trustee Lomax?
Here.
Trustee Penicola?
Here.
Trustee Perez?
Here.
That's 7.
At this time, we will move to public comment. Does anyone wish to address the board? And if so, please approach the podium and state your name.
Yes, we have 2. We have Mike.
Plesso.
Plessa? Sorry.
Good evening. My name's Mike Plessa. I live at 120 David Drive in Bensonville. On August 21st, at a sewer backup into my basement. I spoke to many people on the village, and basically I've been told that it's not their problem, even though I talked to a village worker, Vincent, who said that it is 100% the village's fault. And I have gotten nowhere with the village, and as of right now, I have a $6,500 cleanup bill. My basement has been gutted, and I'm out thousands of dollars in personal belongings. My sewer lines were cleaned in spring. I have a 1 white check that was serviced. On that day, we only had a ½ inch of rain and about a half-hour time span. I don't understand why the village isn't doing the right thing and taking care of the bill for me. My property taxes have gone up to $7,200, almost a 50% raise since I moved in 4 years ago. I pay my water bill and my sewer bill about $100 a month. What is the village going to do for me?
So I was going to mention this in my comments tonight. It was not a known issue to the village, so we don't feel we are negligent to anything. We are encouraging everyone to look into our backflow preventer program, which does reimburse all residents 75% up to $750 for their backflow. And then we're also encouraging you to talk to your insurance.
My insurance does not cover it.
Yep.
And with COVID and my reduction of hours at work, and I had knee surgery, and my wife had brain surgery, and the village not doing the right thing is going to put me at the brink of bankruptcy. It's your line. It's your responsibility to have it serviced.
We are 100% sympathetic to your situation, and we do regular maintenance on all of our lines. That line was serviced back in May of 2020. It was cleaned by the village.
Okay, it's still your responsibility to have it cleaned.
Thank you.
Your village workers told me that it was 100% their fault, and I've been lied to by other people on the board. One told me that it was rags and roots, another told me that it was a diaper, another told me that it was flushable wipes. Which one is it?
The investigation is still ongoing. We do not have a cause, and I apologize if you were given
I
incorrect.
see a record of when the last time it was serviced.
We can provide that.
Is this village going to compensate me for my losses?
We cannot be we cannot be your insurance, unfortunately. And so if it was a negligent issue, if we knew there was a problem, absolutely, we'd be right there with you. But
Okay.
there's no evidence of that.
This, the,
If you want to give me a call tomorrow, I'd be happy to discuss this with you in detail. This is public comment. We've probably already exceeded our 3 minutes, unfortunately. Thank you.
nothing further at this time?
If you'd like to make public comment, you can go to the podium.
Hold on, we have
Gotta go to the
one-
microphone.
we have another public comment ahead of her.
It's Edward.
One more.
This is the same case, because I was witness when
You can go after. Yeah, you can go
Let,
next.
let him talk first, ma'am, and then you can go after him.
Thanks for the time, I appreciate it. My name is Edward Plessa, I'm Michael's father. I just wanted to add on to what Mike said. It was a half hour worth of rain, it's about a half inch of water. It doesn't seem like a 100-year storm. I understand anomalies, I understand the circumstances that are the 100-year rain, right? But in speaking with people from the village, I was told that the line was maintenanced within 3 months, right? But the problem was what people had flushed down the drains. And what I'm struggling with is how a system that is in good repair could end up with this kind of impact with that amount of rain. It leads me to think that the system is inadequate or something was wrong. So I'd just like to share these pictures of my son's house with human excrement in the basement. Would you like to see them? They got a 4-year-old boy. His toys are floating around in human excrement. We're not out here trying to get money for nothing. He doesn't have a lot of money. He doesn't have the insurance to cover it. We're just asking the village to do the right thing.
And again, our investigation is still ongoing on this issue. We do not have a cause. And if we determine what the cause is, we're 100% going to go in and fix it as soon as possible.
Okay.
But we just don't know what that cause is at this point.
Yeah, you
Okay.
could just take the pictures.
We'll enter the pictures into the record.
So is there a date and a time that you could follow up with us?
Absolutely. I think, Joe, we're getting cameras down there this week.
Okay.
Yep.
We appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I want to just add.
Can you please state your name and your address, please, for the record?
This is Małgorzata Labec. I live in Bensonville for 38 years, 260 Mohawk Drive. So 25 minutes rain, and we spoke to Vince, I don't know the last name, and he made the 2 phone calls, and he said that somebody from the water division didn't open the valve, safety valve, because they didn't think 25 minutes rain gonna do the damage. So this is a surprise for me that nobody, then 2-3 days later, somebody changed the story. And I wanted to know why.
First off, I would be surprised, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a gravity-fed system, that we don't have valves that we open on a gravity-fed
That's
system.
You know, I don't speak very well English, but I understand some words what somebody says. And I was witness with Mike when he was talking to the person.
100%, we are not denying anything happened here. It is unfortunate, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it. We just don't know what the cause was.
Yes, and this is not only one house, it was 3 or 4 houses. So it's not like just one house failed.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we're still investigating it. And to another point, I think we're also going to test the lines for maybe even illegal hookups that may have caused something like this too in the neighborhood.
That's something that we can definitely look into. We can start talking about smoke testing. We haven't done that in the past, but it's been in the works for a while.
So, I mean, if somebody's hooking up into the sewer line with their sump pumps or their downspouts, obviously the sanitary sewer line is not made to handle all of that water. So yes, a 30-minute downpour is one thing, but if it's a 30-minute downpour, and I'm not saying this is it, I'm just making light of it. A 30-minute downpour is one thing, but a 30-minute downpour with 20 homes ejecting sump pumps into the sanitary line, the sanitary line's not meant to do all that.
Yeah,
So and from what Evan and Joe, and again, I'm not a sewer guy, but I'm pretty sure there's no valves that are opened up in the sewer line.
That's what
There's
he
no
said.
valves.
And I know the word.
Okay, I'm just,
Valve.
I know that, and I'm not an expert in it. Everything gets pushed downhill. So let us continue From what I understand, the first question I asked was, were the lines cleaned? And I was informed they were clean. So let us continue, let us go double check it tomorrow. Or, Joe, I'm saying tomorrow, but it could be a day or so. And we're gonna take it from there, and let's find out what it is. I mean, it could be a combination of everything involved. It doesn't necessarily one person's fault. Like in my home, I have to pay separate insurance for sewer backup. You know, and it only covers, I think, $10,000. My insurance guy's next to me, but I don't have my policy, but I have to pay extra for that because I did have that problem. I learned my lesson. But I'm just saying, let us investigate it. We're not here saying yay or nay. Give us a couple more minutes or a couple more days to investigate it. That's all I'm asking.
Yes, please, because it's impossible that water was mixed with the sewer. stuff
That's not
at
impossible.
the bathtub, but not after 20 minutes of rain.
Correct.
I do not believe it.
That's why I'm saying there's
It wasn't water, it was the sewer, so
I-
we had to.
ma'am,
cut
I understand that, but when
basement,
I understand that, but you
Close.
can always mix water with sanitary. That's what the sump pump, some people connect it because they don't want to flood their yards, so they illegally hook it up into the sanitary line. So that's kind of another thing we're gonna have to look at.
Yes,
So
please,
let us look at it all.
please.
Thank
And
you.
If our employees gave you wrong information, we're gonna address that with the employees. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, great.
Thank you.
Do we have any online, or is that it?
I didn't get any online.
I mean, we have no more open public comment, right? Okay, go ahead, just state your name and your address, please.
Corey's our clerk.
We're gonna enter these into the records, so we need copies. Can we give them back to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
My name is Brenda Lopez. I'm here for the ordinance of the granting of permission of variation for the property on 138 North Addison Street. I'm here to discuss how I discussed previously, how we want the gravel part of the variation that we're asking for, the extra that we want to add for addition for pavement. The gravel part, we want to kind of pave it. We want to remove the gravel, pave it, and one of the reasons is for when it rains, especially since the pavement already existing of the regular driveway, it's already in need of repair. And since we're gonna repair it, might as well remove the gravel and add that extra variation. Part one is because on that section of where the, right in the corner of the house, where part of it is the gravel and the where the bad pavement is of the regular driveway, it's kind of getting to a point where it's getting flooded when it rains. And we're afraid of it going into our basement, and that's gonna be an extra cost, more cost than, well, an easy cost that we could have done of just removing the gravel and the other section of paving our driveway as well.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. I know the CDC looked into this heavily. They make a recommendation to the village board, and the village board typically goes with that recommendation. So this is just more of reviewing the CDC's recommendations.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Do we have any other public comment? Do we have any online public comment? This will conclude public comment. At this time, I would ask that we deviate from the regular order of business in order to discuss the proclamation on the agenda concerning Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the Village of Bensonville. Is there a motion to deviate from the agenda for this presentation?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
There being a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
The motion carries. I want to read this proclamation, and I don't know if we could have typed it any smaller, but. Whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children, and whereas 1 in 285 children in the United States will be diagnosed by their 20th birthday, and whereas 46 children per day, or 16,790 children per year, are diagnosed with cancer in the U.S., and whereas there are approximately 40,000 children on active treatment at any given time, And whereas the average age of diagnosis is 6 years old, compared to 66 years for adult cancer diagnosis. And whereas 80% of childhood cancer patients are diagnosed late and with metastatic disease. And whereas on average there's been a 0.6% increase in incidence per year since mid-1970s, resulting in an overall incidence increase of 24% over the last 40 years. And whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life-threatening. And whereas approximately 1/2 of childhood cancer families rate the associated financial toxicity due to out-of-pocket expenses as considerable to severe. And whereas in the last 20 years, only 4 new drugs have been approved by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer. And whereas the National Cancer Institute recognizes the unique research needs of childhood cancer and the associated needs for increased funding to carry this out. Whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national level, including American Childhood Cancer Organizations, are helping children with cancer and their families cope through education, emotional, and financial support. And whereas researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently, dedicating their expertise to treat and cure children with cancer. And whereas too many children are affected by this deadly disease and more must be done to raise awareness to find a cure. Now therefore, I, Frank D. Simone, Village President of Bensenville, do hereby proclaim September 2021 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the Village of Bensenville. I encourage all Americans to observe Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and support this cause that is so deeply impacts families in every community across our country. Presented this day, September 24th, 2021. I also have a special guest in the audience here. Let me find my notes real quick. Where is it? No. Oh, here it is, in red, in front of me. Kathy Cundiff and her daughter Layla Cundiff. Layla was diagnosed with liver cancer at the age of 2, and she is now cancer-free.
Time for a picture.
You can smile.
You want to take a picture? Are you okay?
Yeah. I was there every Friday. It's okay.
Trying to get the picture in the background.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And just on a side note, I just want to have a shout out to a little girl that I had just recently met, Tessa. Tessa is battling cancer. She is actually 2 years old today. She has neuroblastoma, and as of last week, we heard she is also cancer-free right now. Thank you, guys. Oh. All right, I need a motion in support of the proclamation I just read.
You have a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There being a motion and second, any discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes?
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries. We will now return to our regular order of business. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the August 10th, 2021 Village Board meeting?
You have
Yep.
a motion?
Is there a second?
You have a second?
Are there any modifications to the minutes? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes?
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries and minutes are approved. The next item of business is to approve the warrant in the amount of $2,933,247.86. Is there a motion to approve the warrant?
So moved.
Is there a second?
You have a second?
Is there any discussion on the warrant? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries and the warrant is approved. Would the deputy village clerk please read the 6 ordinances on the consent agenda that were discussed at the committee of the whole meeting?
Number 1, ordinance granting a special use permit to operate a restaurant at 410 East Green Street. Number 2, ordinance granting approval of a site plan, preliminary plat of consolidation, and variations to allow for building and parking lot expansions at 430 North Meyer Road. 3, ordinance granting a variation to allow a 20-foot by 20-foot paved parking area at 449 South Center Street. 4, ordinance granting a planned unit development amendment to allow an EMC sign at 904 to 910 West Irving Park Road, Gem Car Wash. 5, ordinance granting a PUD amendment at 525, 533, 549, 557, and 573 North Meyer Road. 6, ordinance denying variations to increase driveway width and parking pad depth at 138 North Addison Street.
Is there a motion to approve the 6 ordinances listed on the consent agenda as read by the deputy clerk?
You have a motion.
Is there a second on the
Second.
motion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries and the item on the consent agendas are approved. We do not have a report under administration. Under community and economic development, there's a resolution approving an agreement for the sale and development of the vacant property commonly known as 840 East Green Street. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second on the motion?
You have a second.
There being a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Scott? Right?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is 840 East Green Street, the former Aaron Equipment property. Old timers here in town know as the Griffin Wheel site. It's about a 20.5 acre site. It was acquired by the Tollway for the Elgin O'Hare Western Access Tollway project. It is surplus property. Last year in 2020, the village entered into an intergovernmental agreement with the Tollway to see about the disposition of this property. Was declared surplus by the village, and 2 proposals were received, one from Prologis, one from another developer, Hamilton Partners. The economic development team reviewed the proposals with Mr. Village Manager Summers and recommended that the village enter into agreement to transfer and sell the property to Prologis. Prologis does own and control the 2 properties abutting to the west, the former Amerifreight property and the transmission parts property. The assemblage of this property would create a unified development of over 30 acres, which is, of course, a plus. Prologis can move ahead very promptly with the development of this property. They've had a separate agreement with the Tollway, and if they haven't completed their due diligence, it is almost done at this point. One of the things we have extensive input into the site plan. The site plan that we're talking to Prologis about is revision number 40. So they've been working on it for a long time. They have identified an end user for their one of the larger of the 2 buildings they're proposed. We've met with that end user and find that it'd be acceptable to bring jobs and property taxes to the village. We did actually tour their site in another community before we made that assessment. Any proceeds from the sale, you'll see in the intergovernmental agreement, go directly to the Tollway. So the money doesn't stop at the village. So our input into this is all of those things I just mentioned, the site design, the jobs, and getting all of those things done. So with all that, you have a resolution prepared by the village attorney in your packet. We respectfully recommend that you approve the resolution that authorizes the village to enter into agreement, purchase and sale agreement drafted by our village attorney for the sale of the property to Prologis. And we have a representative from Prologis here tonight. If you have any questions, Amy Zepka, whose title I've forgotten, but Amy from Prologis is here.
I do want to acknowledge that these have been prolonged negotiations with Prologis. Prologis has been nothing but professional in dealing with us. This is probably one of the more complicated real estate transactions I've ever worked on because it's a pass-through with the Tollway. So we've got not just one government entity, but 2 government entities that complicates it. So thank you, Amy, for your team's commitment to getting this deal done.
Any questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
All right, that's 6.
Motion carries and resolution is approved. No report for the police department. Under Public Works, the resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Bensonville and Addison Township Highway Department for the 2021 resurfacing program. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
You have a motion.
Do we have a second?
You have a second?
Being a motion and second discussion, Joe?
Hi, good evening. Before you tonight is an IGA with Addison Township Highway Department. This is to participate in the 2021 resurfacing project. The township actually approached the village with their plans to resurface the mostly unincorporated area bound by 3rd Avenue, Route 83, 2nd Avenue, and Church Road. It's part of their annual program. They kind of move around different parts of the township and do resurfacing. Their resurfacing program is really a heat scarification process, so they basically will heat the roadway, scrape it up a little bit, reuse that existing pavement as their base, and then they come in and resurface the top of it with a new asphalt layer. This being mostly a rural cross-section without curb and gutter, we thought this was a good application for it in that area. The village does have some roadways in there that are our jurisdiction and responsibility. 2nd Avenue is kind of a checkerboard of responsibility between the village and the township, so instead of having them start and stop and start and stop and us coming in and filling the gaps, we just decided to participate in this program. There's also a little section north and south of 2nd Avenue on Briar Avenue, or Briar Lane, that is our jurisdiction as well. So that'll be resurfaced as part of this program as well. The project was recently bid, and Brothers Asphalt Paving was the lowest bidder for their project. The cost of the village's portion of the roadways is just over $110,000. We initially had budgeted this in our program for this year, but we pulled 2nd Avenue out because we knew this was kind of coming. The IGA does acknowledge the village's participation and our cost reimbursement responsibilities for the actual costs on the project, and staff does recommend approval.
Any questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries, resolution is approved. Under Recreation is a resolution authorizing the execution of a purchase order with AMS Mechanical Systems Incorporated for the emergency purchase of a new brine pump at the edge on John Street in the amount of $10,850. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
You have a motion?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Being a motion and a second, do we have discussion? Sean? Pump went bad, we replaced it, case closed?
Exactly. Few words. On August 10th, the brine pump failed. We reached out to a few different companies to see what the replacement cost would be. Evan alerted the board, and we went ahead and installed the new one, and the ice rink is fully operational.
And just for giggles, what does the brine do for our ice? Why do we need it? Why do we need a
So
pump?
The brine pump circulates the secondary refrigerant through the arena floor. Ammonia is our primary refrigerant. It is confined to the mechanical room. The brine pump circulates the brine through the ammonia chiller, which then allows the brine to go out through the floor at 16 degrees to get our ice nice and cold.
Without a brine pump, we don't have ice. Without ice, we don't have an ice rink.
We have 3 pools then.
Right, we got 3
We're indoor
shallow
swimming.
pools.
Any questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Pena Cola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries and resolution is approved. Under presidential remarks, there, a letter of thanks and gratitude to the Bensonville Public Works Department from the villages of Woodridge and Burridge. It is my understanding that the Public Works Director, Joe Crouchy, will discuss this matter. Joe?
Sure. As you can imagine, on June 20th, a tornado ripped through a few towns here, our local neighbors in Woodridge and Burridge, as well as a couple other towns. Again, as you can imagine, the toll that takes upon a department that's not ready for mass destruction like that can be overwhelming. Typically, towns will go out and reach out to Public Works Mutual Aid or Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid to help ask for assistance. The Village of Bensonville stepped up and actually provided crews to both those towns in their time of need. We did receive two different letters, one from Woodridge and one from Burridge, which I'd be happy to read to you, just as a thank you to the town for their assistance in that tough time. So I'll start with the Village of Woodridge. Dear President DeSimone, on behalf of the entire grateful community, our Woodridge Village Board, the Village of Woodridge, and myself, we want to thank you for all of your tremendous outpouring of help, kindness, and sacrifice that was shown to us on the fateful day of June 20th, 2021. When our community was hit by an EF3 tornado, along with Naperville and Darien, without any hesitation, your organization reached out to help us, whether it was by sending employees or lending heavy machinery, providing donations, or sending us a caring note of support. All of this means so much to our community, and there are truly not enough words to fully express our thanks. We cannot begin to tell you how very much we appreciate all of you and wanted to thank you for coming to our aid when we needed it the most. Please accept this letter of gratitude and thanks from all of us, our entire grateful community. Your kindness will be felt for generations to come within the Woodridge community. Our heartfelt gratitude, Gina Cunningham, Mayor of Woodridge. And the second letter was actually addressed to me, but I believe that President DeSimone got a copy of this as well. The tornado that came through Burridge on the night of June 20th caught us all off guard. The storm left us in a wake of many downed trees and power lines, as well as damage to buildings and personal property. Our Public Works crew got straight to work on the cleanup efforts, but the tornado left more destruction than our staff could handle alone. The village relied on the generous mutual aid of several agencies, including the Village of Bensonville. On behalf of our residents and businesses of Burridge, the Village Board and I are very grateful for your assistance that you provided. Your tree removal crew quickly, safely, and efficiently cleared our roadways and parkways of dangerous and fallen tree limbs, and with the use of your trucks, transported the accumulated tree limbs to a disposal site. You helped us restore Burridge to a safe living and working environment. Thank you for being part of our community and keeping Burridge a very special place. Sincerely, Gary Grasso, Mayor of Burridge.
I'll say I was in Oak Brook early morning meeting the day after, and I saw 5 different communities, trucks, and like a caravan headed that way, and it was pretty inspiring to see. We don't want misfortune to happen to us. Someday it may, and it's important that we keep these relationships here, so the support's here when we need it.
Absolutely. Couple more presidential remarks. We have some special members in the audience. I'd like to welcome the Bensonville Wooddale Troop 47 group. They're working on their Citizens of the Community badge. So welcome. I hope you guys are taking copious notes. And if you want to hang out after, we could take a picture when we're all said and done. Last Saturday, I had my first coffee with the village president event in Town Center. I wanted to thank all the residents who came out to meet with us. And our next coffee dates will be held on Saturday, October 2nd, which will be at Sunrise Park, and October 9th at Mohawk Park. And that's from 9 to 11, so please see the village website for any more information. We are still looking for a Christmas tree for this year's tree lighting ceremony in downtown Bensonville. Even though we planted a permanent one, we have to give it one more year to mature before we start hanging lights and ornaments on it, so we're going to kind of give it one more year. So if you have a tree you would like to donate, please call 630-350-3405. That concludes presidential remarks. Do I have any village manager reports?
Yeah, I touched on it earlier, and I think we all saw how just devastating the sewer backup can be. I want all residents to go onto our website and look up the backflow preventer program or overhead sewer program, see if it's the right fit for you. It could help prevent some of this tragedy that we've seen. This coming September 25th, Redmond Park Beautification Day, is sponsored by the Bensonville Wooddale Rotary. Lunch will be served at noon, starts at 10 o'clock. See the village website for more details. We really appreciate our partners at Rotary coming and helping us maintain Redmond Park. And then finally, we've been getting a lot of calls lately on coyotes. So I just wanted to give a quick update on that. We're never going to eliminate coyotes from our community. They were here before we were. They're just part of being in the suburbs right now. We do want to encourage everyone to learn to live safely with wildlife. Don't approach wildlife if they can be protective of their cubs. Let us know if the wildlife is getting aggressive. We do have a situation where we have a trap set up in Crimples Park to try to address some of the coyotes that are a little too friendly with humans right now. They're just not keeping their distance. We haven't had any incidents, but we are addressing that. And stay vigilant. Keep your dog on a leash. Don't let your little kids out in the backyard unsupervised. and just, normal stuff like that. So we do know there's coyotes. They're always going to be here. They're territorial animals. So if we remove them all, more coyotes are just going to come back in. So just live safely and stay vigilant. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Do you have a village attorney's report?
I have no report, Mr. President.
Is there any unfinished business to come before the board tonight? Seeing none. Is there any new business to come before the board tonight? Do we have a need for executive session?
There is no need, Mr. President.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
You have a motion?
Do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Franz?
Yes.
Trustee Fry?
Yes.
Trustee Lomax?
Yes.
Trustee Penicola?
Yes.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
That's 6.
Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.